Okay, part 3. Here we go. You're given an equation that seems to be all mixed up. Doesn't have any kind of order to it at all. There's x's, y's, y squareds, x squareds. Everything's messed up. And it's asking for the center and the radius of the circle. Now, when you think about this, the chaos needs to be brought back to order. We need structure. What was the structure that helped us determine the center and the radius of the circle every single time? That's it. If we can rewrite this equation to make it fit that structure, we got to follow the rules. We got to do all things algebraically legal here. We can't just randomly write it like that. We got to do some. Do you guys know what to do with this? This is a perfect square polynomial. You probably saw it back in Math 1, hopefully Math 2 and Math 3. We need to complete the square. Not once, but twice on both the x's and the y's. The r is just going to be a constant term, so we don't have to do a process on that. So check this. I've got x squared minus 4x. I want to rewrite that over here, okay? I'm regrouping it. I'm allowed to do that because of the commutative property. I'm going to take the y squared and the 6y and move it in its own separate place. And then I'm going to move this 36 to the opposite side. Now, I don't know if you guys remember how to complete the square, but it's actually a really quick move. What you do is you take the x term, it's almost like your b term for ax squared plus bx plus c, cut it in half, and then square it. That's the number that when I add it to then x squared minus 4x plus 4, it creates a perfect square trinomial that will factor down to x minus h squared. Okay? The b term divided by 2 squared. Cut the middle in half and square it. That's how I got the 4. And I added it on the left-hand side of the equation, which means I can't just, hey, I'm just going to add it to the left. I got to add it to the right also. Okay? So, you do the same thing on our red y squared terms. Middle divided by 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So you're adding 9 to this polynomial to make it a perfect square trinomial. And make sure you add that to the right-hand side as well. So, a lot of moving parts here. But here's the deal. X squared minus 4x plus 4. The shortcut to factoring is it's just going to be x minus 2 squared. All right? It's always that middle number divided by 2 squared. So you did middle number divided by 2 squared to find that perfect number. And then you do middle number divided by 2 squared to factor it. So, I don't know if that helps. But this is going to be middle number divided by 2 squared. And that equals 49. So yeah, if this was confusing in any part, particularly this process from here to here where I just seem to use a shortcut that I haven't talked about yet, I'll explain that in class. But bottom line is, if you went through the long way to factor x squared minus 4x plus 4, it's going to factor down. I'm not going to show it on this video because I want to keep us moving forward. We've already had 2 videos. Your endurance is probably starting to wane a little bit. Oh, let's answer the question. What's the center? 2, negative 3. What's the radius? The square root of 49, 7. What happens when we have coefficients out front like this? Well, we need to divide them out. Can't really get to work until we divide those out. So I'm going to divide everybody by 2. So that gives me x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 2y minus 15 halves equals 0. All the while recognizing this is what we're looking for, the center and the radius. So if you recall, we want the x's together. We want the y's together. And then we want the 15 halves on the other side. So I added 15 halves to both sides to get this. And then you ask yourself, what's the perfect number that I can add to x squared minus 6x to create a perfect square trinomial? Middle number divided by 2, negative 3, square. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. I added it to the left, so I'm going to add it to the right. Do the same thing here. Half of 2 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, so I'm adding it there again. So the perfect number was middle divided by 2 squared. The perfect square factoring is middle divided by 2 squared. Middle divided by 2 squared. And this ends up being like 17.5-ish. Let's see, 7.5 plus 10, 17.5, which is 35 over 2. All right, 3, negative 1. And then I'd have to take the square root of this. We can just make it simple, call it root 35 over 2. All right, I explained that already. I think you guys are good. Yeah. Yeah. Whew. Okay, I'm done.